When I replaced the front of the chassis, I had to disconnect the front slave cylinders because obviously the front axle came off as well. So bleeding the brakes, or at least I'm trying to bleed the brakes. The front's bled fairly successfully. As you can see, I'm going to all efforts to try and make sure that brake fluid doesn't strip all the paint off. But the rear, I don't get anything. I don't even get air coming out of it. So it makes me a bit suspicious that something's wrong with the master cylinder. There's no brake failure valve on this, so any issues with that is discounted. So the master cylinder has been dry for a little bit, probably 2 or 3 months. Hasn't had any fluid in, and I've taken the master cylinder out. What was a little bit concerning was no fluid at all came out of the rear port, even though there is a little bit in there. And the stuff that's come out of the master cylinder generally looks pretty disgusting. So I'm a bit suspicious that something nasty is going on there. Perhaps all the seals have dried out inside or stuck. So the front, or the front port on the cylinder had fluid coming out of it, and that's connected to the front brakes on this vehicle. I think it's a very non-standard setup. The rear port had no fluid coming out of it, and that's connected to the rear brakes, which had all the problems with bleeding. Either there was no fluid flow through there at all. When I bled them, I used a Gunson Easy Bleed, and I also tried to induce a bit of suction on the rear bleed ports as well, using a syringe. But there's literally no air or fluid came out. So with the bleeding issue on the rear brakes, I had a look at the arrangement on the car. There's no brake failure valve, which sometimes can be an issue with trying to bleed rear brakes. So the only culprit really can be the master cylinder, and I think it's just because it's sat with no fluid in for a long time. I think the seals have got messed up inside. So there's the master cylinder. I've taken the reservoir off. There's the 2 seals of the reservoir and just some roll pins that fit it on. And here is the seal replacement kit. So this master cylinder is newer than the one that's in the Haynes manual, and I've had a look around on the internet, and I've got a set of instructions for taking it apart. So we'll see how that goes. So I've taken the 2 pistons out of the master cylinder, and this is the arrangement. I've just chopped a bit of tube in half to lay it out in, stop it rolling away. So now I'm going to replace all the seals one by one to make sure I get them in the right place. So the cylinder's back together, the array of old seals, slightly worrying. I have some things left over, so this came with the pack, but I've used the original circlip and steel washer. I think this is the seal that goes on there, but I have no idea what these 2 are. The instructions I've got don't reference these, and they didn't come out of they weren't previously in the cylinder, so we'll see. The battery's connected up, so I've just been going through the electrics, and generally everything seems to work fine apart from the indicators. So there is no, a bit of glare there is no indicator at all when I put the right or left indicator on with the stick. So I've taken off, you can see it there, taken off this little indicator canister module and shorted it out. And when I put the indicator on, I get either just a solid right or solid left indicator, so things seem to be connected up. I've checked the current flow through that, and it's about 3.2 amps for both left and right, which seems to tie up roughly what I'd expect. So I think for some reason, when this has been sat waiting for me to fix it, the little indicator module has has broken inside. Maybe one of the contacts is stuck or something. So I've taken all the wheels, stripped all the old paint off and degreased the inside. So we're going to paint them the limestone colour. The previous owner had painted them limestone but hadn't really keyed the surface of the, which I presume was powder coat, of the white wheel, and so all the paint just peeled off. So the Land Rover is complete and ready for action. There's still a few little bits of teething problems we need to sort out, but generally it seems to be going okay. As you can hear in the background, my children are looking forward to having a drive in it. So let's just do that.
Further than we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Where did we stop yesterday?
We'll drive past it in a minute.
In fact, here's where me and Michael went for a drive yesterday.
Yeah.
The engine's like the exact same thing, the same place.
Is it because you have to slow down quite a bit?
No, I think it's just a bit of guidance in the car. Brento decided to rear its ugly head again.